I'm going back to the Scorpions today. I haven't talked about Scorpions for, excuse me, for quite some time. I talked about Taken by Force, I don't know, 2 months ago, and Lonesome Crow about a month ago. So I'm going to go back to the Scorpions. Lonesome Crow, their first album from 1971. But before I get to that, I will make a slight, I don't know if I should call it an apology. Maybe that's too strong to say. But the last episode I did, which was NOLA by Down, I just wasn't feeling it. So for the 37 or 49 people that watched that, I apologize. I started to do it and I listened to that. I love that album. I think I didn't make it clear enough how much I love NOLA by Down. Just outside my top 10 records ever. And I had listened to it a couple times before I did the episode and I was really feeling it. And then I don't know what happened. I started doing the video and I don't know, a few minutes in or partway in, I just felt like I don't want to talk about this song. I don't know why. And I just felt like I hit a wall. And I just felt like I'm just saying the same thing. This song, Temptation's Wings, Lifer, Pillars of Eternity, Rehab, Hail the Leaf, underneath everything, that, you know, great riff, great drums, and it's really heavy. It's so heavy. And I just felt, I'm just repeating myself again and again, which is what I'm doing now. So hopefully I can redeem myself with this episode, but I'm not sure about that. But this is Scorpions, Lonesome Crow, and I have a couple of more Scorpions albums to go through, at least 3, I think. 3 more Scorpions albums that I'm going to talk about. You can leave a comment, drop a comment in the comment section below if you think you know which, if you can predict what Scorpions albums I'm going to talk about in the future. Not today, Lonesome Crow. So I've talked about them in the past, and this is their first album. This came out in 1971. Hard to believe that Scorpions have been around that long. You know, when I started listening to Kiss in 1976 and then in Scorpions in 1982, to me, Scorpions were a new band, and it's amazing to think that they were around before Kiss and before AC/DC, and around the same year, I guess, after the first Black Sabbath album. I thought of Scorpions as kind of a newer band, and they're not. They're old guys. I guess Klaus Meine and Rudy Schenker now are 74, 73, 74, 75, around there. They've been around a long, long time, and it started with Lonesome Crow, which Michael Schenker played on. Now, a little bit about Michael Schenker, about this early Scorpions record, Lonesome Crow, before I get to the track by track that you're all waiting for, and I may stumble with that. This may not be a redemption for NOLA by Down. And I'm not overly familiar with Lonesome Crow. I'd never heard it at all, not a note from it until some years ago. 5, 6 years ago maybe. I'd never heard anything from it. There's nothing from this album that, you know, ended up being a Scorpions classic. But getting back to to Michael Schenker. He was one of these guys that when I was a teenager listening to Scorpions and Iron Maiden and Motorhead and everything, everybody talked about how great Michael Schenker was. But I didn't know. I didn't know his work with Scorpions at all, including at that point Love Drive. I think I didn't know. I think he came back for a part of Love Drive. And so everybody was raving about how great Michael Schenker was, and I didn't know anything about him. And the only thing I knew about him was he had a song called Into the Arena, which I think was by the Michael Schenker Group. And then his crap, I thought, with the MSG, which was the Macaulay Schenker Group, Robin Macaulay and Michael Schenker. Didn't care about that at all. But, you know, on this album, man, this guy really wails. I really understand. There's lots of screaming guitar, as Shotgun Messiah says on this album. Michael Schenker is really, really good. I don't know how he is as, you know, in terms of technical proficiency or anything like that. But there's some great, just blistering, it's such a cliche to say that, but some real blistering guitar work on this album. And this album is kind of similar to Fly to the Rainbow, which, as I said, I did a month or 5 or 6 weeks ago or something. It's kind of a weird album. It's amazing to think that the Scorpions, who did Can't Live Without You and Bad Boys Running Wild and I don't know, things like that they started doing things like Lonesome Crow. Because this is a really wild, it's kind of an abstract, weird, psychedelic, uneven. I don't love this album. It's okay. It's kind of disjointed, if that's the word. It's weird. It's all over the place. It seemed unfocused. I've never heard anybody, and I'm not saying that nobody thinks this, but I've never heard anybody say, yeah, Lonesome Crow, that's the best Scorpions album. Everybody loves the first album. Everybody loves Kill 'Em All and I don't know, the first Iron Maiden record, but I think this is one that people never really talk about being great. I don't think it's great, as I said. I think it's a little bit uneven. Very psychedelic, kind of weird songs, short, weird lyrics also, which I don't know the lyrics too well. I don't think I'll be quoting them too often in this episode. But that's it. So that's what I think about the Scorpions' Lonesome Crow in general. I'll try now to stumble my way through Lonesome Crow. As I said, I'm not overly familiar with it. I've heard it a bunch of times, I guess, at this point over the last several years. There's nothing really that sticks with me. So I will open it and get to the track by track. And I've got it here. And I had to open it. I got this a couple of months ago. And this was the last Scorpions album that I needed. I have some of the more recent ones. I won't say because I don't want to ruin the guessing game of what Scorpions albums I'm going to talk about. So I opened it just to see that it was indeed Lonesome Crow, as you can see there, and it is. So I will open it now. I never had this on CD or record, so this is new for me. And there it is. That's the. Oh well, I don't like this. Is this song? I don't like this. Off to a bad start. You notice I don't like these and these are not stickers. These are printed right on the cover. Featuring Michael Schenker of UFO and this Brain Metronome recordings. I don't like those. Put it on the wrapper, but I don't like it right on the album cover. It's a minor thing. If I had known that, I still would have ordered it. But that kind of bothers me to see. It's on the cover. It's not a sticker. All right. And no hype sticker. This was, I think, the only one. Scorpions, I think in the spring of this year, they reissued and re-released pretty much everything from, what was the second album? From this was the first album, Fly to the Rainbow was second. Fly to the Rainbow through, I think, Savage Amusement. That album sucks. This one, I guess because it was on a different label, this was on Brain Music, Brain Metronome Recordings. This was not included, so this was a little bit harder to find and a little bit more expensive, but when I got this a couple of months ago, I just wanted to get that last Scorpions album to complete my personal collection. I don't have all their records. Some of their later stuff, I don't care about that, but all right, here we go. Lonesome Crow. I'll open it up, and I guess this is just regular black vinyl. I don't know what to expect inside. As I said, I've never had the CD or the record. This is wrapped up tight. I think Frank Rizzo says something like that. All right, let me open it up. All right, that was fairly easy. I'll put it here. I usually put it over there, but I'll try to mix it up this time and put it to my right instead of to my left. All right, so there it is. Scorpions' Lonesome Crow. I would imagine there's nothing inside. Yeah, very, very disappointing, as I say every time. Give me something. Don't give me a plain white label. Or not even a label, a plain white sleeve. And there it is. All right. I do believe this is 180 gram vinyl. So it must be good. If I can get it back in. All right. And then I'll try to go through it track by track. And another weird thing, it's a weird album. It's 7 songs. I think Fly to the Rainbow is also 7 songs. Which was fine, for back then. Bands didn't feel the need to, this makes me sound like an old man. Bands didn't feel the need to put out 14, 15 songs on a record and have it 60, 65, 74 minutes, whatever CDs are. This says 1972. I thought this record came out in 1971. Which is correct? I'll Google this later myself. Or there's no verb for Wikipedia, is there? There should be. I'll wiki it later. So 7 songs on this album, 4 on the first side, 3 on the second side. It starts with "I'm Going Mad." This is my favorite on this album. I love this song. This is a good song. And a little funny thing here. "I'm going mad," and then they have an apostrophe. I think it should be "I'm going mad," because apostrophe represents that a letter or letters are missing. So a little, maybe this is a German English thing. Yeah, the most minor things, but nothing gets past me. So "I'm Going Mad." Now this song, this is kind of it almost feels like an instrumental. I think the vocals don't come in until 2 or 3, how long is this song? 4 minutes, 53 seconds. I think the vocals come in around 2.5 or 3 minutes. So it almost feels like an instrumental. A couple things about this song. One, it totally reminds me of Ballroom Blitz. Reminds me of Ballroom Blitz by Sweet, or The Sweet. The other thing is there's a band, or there was a band, a great band, I think, from Mexico City called the Broccolis, who disbanded a few years ago. And they have a song on their, they only released one album. It was called Early Days. And they have a song in there called El Indio. And El Indio really, it totally sounds not like a ripoff, but a total tribute to "I'm Going Mad." It has that kind of rhythmic, drum intro, and it's kind of a rhythmic song, and like that. The first line of El Indio by the Broccolis is "walking in the desert," and the first line on "I'm Going Mad" is "walking through the desert," I think, or maybe vice versa. And it's kind of almost spoken word, I don't know, something like that. And the guitarist, no, I guess in the Broccolis, he's the drummer, Rodrigo. He's a friend of mine. And I asked him about this a couple of years ago. I said, "Did you know this song called "I'm Going Mad" by the Scorpions?" And I sent it to him, and he said, "Yeah, that really sounds really similar, but there was no intention." So that's a couple of things about "I'm Going Mad." That's an excellent song. My favorite for sure. As I said, this album, I don't love it. It's okay, but I don't love it. Next is "It All Depends." This is a wailing one. Great guitar work on this one, and these weird lyrics. And also, "I'm Going Mad" had this. I think the lyrics are very short, and then they repeated them. I guess the one and only verse, I think, was repeated twice in the second verse. And "It All Depends" too. It's takes my dinner. Drinks my beer, steals my money, but I don't care. And then there's a few lines after that, and then I think they repeat it. Maybe no, that one I think they don't repeat. That's a great song also. I wouldn't say a great song. I like "It All Depends." "Leave Me" is track 3. This one's more, it's kind of a quiet song. I like, is this the one? I like that. Oh, maybe I like this album more than I thought. I like those little kind of backing vocals, which kind of continued on "Fly the Rainbow." Anything else about "Leave Me"? I think that's all. The last song on side 1 is called "In Search of the Peace of Mind," which I think is meant to be "In Search of Peace of Mind." I think it's a German to English translation thing that they added "In Search of the Peace of Mind." This one's okay. I think it's in this song. There's a part in the middle that feels like the song ends, and then it just kind of goes in a different direction. Almost could have been a second song, I think, or another song. And then on side 2, the first track is "Inheritance." I don't remember too much about this song. I think it's another kind of a weird, kind of a psychedelic. It's not a Scorpions hard rock song. Scorpions didn't really write hard rock songs back then. But "Inheritance," a little bit of a strange song. And 2 more, as I said, only 7 songs. "Action" is next. This one is pretty good too. This is kind of, it has the same intro as "Wicked World" by Black Sabbath. It's kind of a jazzy, funky, swingy song, something like that. "Action," I like "Action." And then the last one is the title track, "Lonesome Crow." Now this is 13 minutes and 30 seconds. This is similar to "In Search of the Peace of Mind." it feels like it's kind of divided into sections. And I know the lyrics are very minimal. I think all the lyrics are in the first few minutes of the song, and then the last 9 minutes of the song is just kind of a weird, as I said, kind of different parts. I think this is the one where there are kind of 3 different parts that they could have broken into a couple of different songs, but they chose to make it into one. And I feel like this is kind of a disappointing song. You see, and I like long songs. You see, 13 minutes, 30 seconds, you think, wow, this is going to be, like how many more times Led Zeppelin, I talked about that recently, how it starts here and it goes around and it comes back. Well, this song starts and then it just kind of gets spread all over and it doesn't really come back to where it started from. Again, as I said when I talked about the album in general, it's a little bit disjointed and doesn't really go anywhere. It's 13 and a half minutes of just kind of abstract, weird music. Yeah, so I don't know, that's it. And who played on this? Michael Schenker, Klaus Meine, Rudolf Schenker, of course. I don't even know these guys' names. Wolfgang Zioni is the drummer, and Lothar Heimberg, that's a German name if you've ever heard one, played bass before Francis Buchholz joined in, was he on Fly to the Rainbow? I can't remember. But anyway, so there it is. A strange album with a strange cover. Stop this. I don't like this. I find it distracting. It's like tinsel with Frank Costanza. It distracts me. These yellow spots on it. But anyway, there it is, the first Scorpions album. This was 52 years ago. My God, Scorpions have been around a long time. So there it is, the very first, though not quite classic, Scorpions album. This is called Lonesome Crow.